Welcome to the Football Forecast, your ultimate guide to the NFL week ahead. Get ready as we dive deep into the biggest matchups, analyze key player performances, and break down the strategies that could make or break your favorite team's chances. Whether you're looking to dominate your fantasy league, make smart picks and bets, or simply stay ahead of the game, we've got you covered with insights and predictions. So buckle up, football fans. It's time to get your game face on for another action-packed week in the NFL. While only one team can hoist the trophy at the end, it all starts with the forecast. All right, we're back for Football Forecast. Make sure you follow us on social media at TFB Forecast, ETB across all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TFB Forecast ETB. Follow our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Please like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, so please help us do that as well. And if you can't listen, this will be up on audio platforms as well, so please listen wherever you get your podcast. You know the drill by now. You can find all those platforms. And also presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others, but we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysis and commentary, and invite viewers up for Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and a social experience, from playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching with the commentators or communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB Network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. We're getting busy on Playback, so you'll find all that out later on. All right. This is a quick short because of the way the Christmas schedule fell. We can't do them all together. It's just not how the schedule worked out. Mm-hmm. So we have to do the Wednesday games because there's Wednesday Christmas games and Thursday night football. You're going to get in essentially a part one for this week.
It's very different from how we normally do it because Thursday night's exclusive to social media with the graphic and then the normal stuff. But everybody here refuses to work on Christmas. So we're doing everything else. So yes, the line, especially for the Thursday game, be aware, is a very early line. As of the time we're recording this, the Seattle game has just wrapped up. So, but we're going with the lines that we're going with as of Sunday Night Football Week 16.
This is the one disclaimer I'll give because it's so early. Just do at your own risk what you hear
Correct.
For that game.
Correct.
So if we're wrong, don't blame us. It's because it's early.
Also, to help me out with editing and just, because the structure is all weird, there is a no lock rule for these three games. You are not using your lock.
Which you wouldn't be able to use for a Thursday game anyway, because that we usually don't do a normal Thursday game. Well, we said we
were going to treat the Christmas games like Thursday anyway. So
that's what I mean. Like I'm saying anything before Thursday, you wouldn't be able to lock. So that's just the way it goes anyway. Correct. So, all right, let's get into it. We have three games. And do we have everything to go along with it, Johnny, or no?
I have
What?
No, because with the stats and everything. No, because technically Week 16 hasn't ended yet.
No, but I think you have. Do we have the cruise yet for the game or no?
I do.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He has got the cruise. Yeah,
that is pretty much the only thing that's set in. That's one of the only few things that is set in stone for this. So that is okay. Now, if we were doing Fox games, I would tell you right now we would not be able to do that. But these three are set.
And we'll quickly talk about the Netflix stuff too, because there's some interesting scenarios there.
Yeah.
But let's get started. All right. So where are we going to go first?
Well, let's start with the Netflix game, and we'll start in order. And Nick, I guess we'll start with you on this one, as it's a 1:00 Eastern kick here on Christmas on Christmas afternoon. And Nick, on Netflix, it's an Iron Eagle, Nate Burleson, J.J. Watt, Melanie Collins, Stacey Dale special, as Patrick Mahomes and the 14-1 Kansas City Chiefs take on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Russell Wilson. And the Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, so looking at this game, the Chiefs do it again, obviously. And I don't know, the Texans just didn't look good in the game they played against the Chiefs, just coming off. They played a lot better. They look healthier. Mahomes is still finding it a little bit, but he looked better. The Steelers, I'm a little concerned about after having that awful loss against the Ravens. The Ravens played really good for the first time in a while. Like, they just look much better. Obviously, we know the whole history of them not covering, but I'm going to say in this scenario, I think that they're finally coming around and playing better. So I just think the Chiefs are going to come out in this more important game that everyone's watching, and I'm going to say cover.
Tom.
Well, now here's my question. The Chiefs have the number 1 seed wrapped up, right?
No, not yet.
Not quite.
Not quite. So if they win, so doing playoff scenario, if they win this game, the assumption is they have locked it up.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. So what has to happen is the Bills would have to win their final 2 games, and the Chiefs would have to lose their last 2 in order for the Bills to get the number 1 seed.
All right. So even though we don't have the Week 17 playoff scenarios, we do have one for this game.
Yes, I think that's the one we can give you for sure. Yes.
Yep, that is for sure.
All right. So I'm going to continue to go off of what Nick Morgeson was saying, because it's not even a matter of that other teams haven't looked good. I mean, yeah, there are concerns about some of the competition that the Chiefs have with the AFC. Steelers coming off that bad loss against the Eagles. The Bills, who are on the tail, trying to fight with the Chiefs, last guessing for the number 1 seed. They just beat the Patriots. They looked absolutely terrible doing so, though, and just ruined one of my fantasy seasons. Actually, correction, both of my fantasy seasons. So maybe I'm just a little sour, but Nick, I'm going to pull something out too, because we're talking about, everybody else isn't looking good, but I'm going to pull some words that you mentioned the last couple of weeks. Maybe it was you and John, about certain teams. You know what good teams do? They find a way to win.
Agreed.
And as much as, we talk about, or I've talked about the Deus Ex Machina way that the Chiefs continue to win games, they win games. So if they're managing to win games, what's to say that they aren't going to win this one? I know the line is, and because the line is short, they actually have covered in 2 straight games now. I'm going Chiefs. Take the money. And the AFC is going to run through Kansas City once again.
Zan?
Yeah, I mean, after what the Steelers showed me against Baltimore, which was a very down to competition performance and just downright lackluster, given the division title was at stake too. I don't see how Pittsburgh wins this game. Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, they're going to have not just them at home, but they're going to have the home field advantage behind them. But I just feel like Kansas City, they're always playing for something no matter what. And when you got the number 1 seed right in your grasp with 2 games to go, I don't see how the Chiefs blow this opportunity. And obviously with the whole Netflix angle too, I think it would kill 2 birds with 1 stone to not only have a game on Netflix, but to have it be a Chiefs win is, I think, a win-win for everybody involved. So I think Mahomes does enough. I think Wilson plays decently well, but I think the Chiefs find a way to pull it out, probably by a touchdown. So we're going to go probably 27-20, somewhere in there, 35-28, a high-scoring affair, but I do think the Chiefs find a way to cover late. So give me them on the road.
Yeah, you guys are right. Very concerning the last 2 games for the Steelers for sure. Russell Wilson seems to come back to earth a bit with these 2 games, but there's a couple of things I've noticed also with those 2 games. George Pickens being out of the lineup those 2 weeks, I think, has definitely played a role. And I was reading from Adam Schefter on Sunday that Mike Tomlin did say that he has a real chance to play in this game. And I think that helps in a big, big way. And the Steelers, the last 2 losses, it wasn't like they were playing crappy teams. They were playing the Eagles, who could be the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they were playing the Baltimore Ravens, and they probably were getting the Baltimore Ravens at a very bad time. And I'll talk about that when we get to the Raven game. So I'm going to factor that in. If George Pickens back, I think that helps the Steelers out in a big, big way. And the Steelers defense is still they still lead the league in turnovers forced per game. And this game could be really, really close. So I even can get a win this way. I'm going to take the Steelers plus the 2.5 here. And even if it's a very, very close one, which I think it will be, I could still get a winner that way, even if I don't take them on the money line. So I will take the Steelers plus the 2.5 there at Aquashore Stadium on Christmas Day to make this a very, very thrilling start to the Week 17 slate.
So are you going a full upset?
I am. You know what? Just for our keeping, I will take the Steelers to win this game. Yes,
Ooh.
I'll do it. Yeah, I mean the Chief defense has been great. That's never been an issue here. But I just don't see Mike Tomlin team losing 3 games in a row. And whenever you doubt Mike Tomlin, and I know some of us have doubted him at times this year, he always finds the way to get it done. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take him and the Steelers to win this game on Christmas Day. Maybe say it. Maybe pull off a Christmas miracle. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. It's not a super high point spread, so I'm not too scared of them covering or not. So I think the Chiefs will win and cover. The Steelers, obviously, that game with the Ravens was close until, the end. Obviously, that interception by Russell Wilson definitely hurt. And I think TJ Watt, who has been playing through injuries, hasn't looked the same over the last few weeks. He hasn't looked like the same TJ Watt. So that's kind of concerning. I know Joey Porter Jr. got a little banged up in the game. If George Pickens plays, I'm not sure if he's going to be 100%. So I just think this Pittsburgh team is kind of starting to get a little beat up. Now you got Hollywood Brown back for the Chiefs. And knowing the Chiefs could cover and clinch the first seed with this win, I think that's going to give added motivation. We know the Chiefs, when it comes to big games, they have a lot at stake. They usually play hard. And I think Mahomes, who's not 100%, they want to go out there and win this game. And then essentially they could have 2 weeks of rest. They could have the last week to rest up their players since they already got the first seed clinch. And then since they got the first seed, they could get the bye as well. So they know with a win here, they can essentially get 2 weeks off to get Mahomes healthy and get their team ready for the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs to win and cover.
All right. Tom, also on Netflix, we've got Noah Eagle, Greg Olson, Jamie Ertl, and Steve Weish as the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson head to NRG Stadium to face CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. And the Ravens, it's the Ravens laying 3.5.
All right, so it's the Ravens as a 3.5 favorite?
Yeah, the Ravens are a 3.5 point favorite in this game.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Texans, you guys are right. And, I've tried to back them for a while, longer than other people have, but these guys are just way too banged up. And now to add to that, Tank Dell, that dislocated kneecap, I don't see him. I don't see him playing again this season. He could try for a postseason, but I just don't see it happening at all. And you've got the Ravens, who now have ton of momentum on their side, the way that they played last week, and they're being matched up against a Houston team that's shaky. Yeah, this is an easy take the money for me.
Zan?
Ravens too. I mean, I think they're playing much better football as of late. You guys just alluded to it with the Tank Dell injury, one of the most exciting offensive threats in all of football. And yeah, I know it's indoors, and I know that Houston won't have to worry about any weather or anything, but when you got Lamar Jackson in a dome stadium and he can run around and do everything that he does at the level that he does it, I think it's going to be more of a Baltimore Ravens playground than anything else. So give me the Ravens to win this game and cover the spread on the road.
Yeah, I might steal my inner Nick Morganson saying this. This pick is a true momentum pick if there ever was one. I am taking the Ravens minus 3.5. And if you look at them the last couple of weeks coming off their bye, everything's going right for the Ravens. What I was concerned about them for a while was their defense. Well, their defense has looked great the last 2 games. Special teams are starting to get right. Justin Tucker is starting to kick long field goals again and making long field goals. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry continue to play out of this world football. And the Texans are just hurting, literally and figuratively. After Tank Dell's injury, they just looked totally deflated. I mean, you even saw Kai Fairbank, their kicker, miss that extra point after the touchdown. And it just felt like all the air got left out of the balloon. There got sucked out of the balloon there for the Texans after that injury. And they just have had that kind of year. I mean, I know they're leading the AFC South. They're probably going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs. But this has not been the same Texan team as last season. So I'm going to take the Ravens to at least get it, to win this game by at least a touchdown there on Christmas Day. Anthony?
Yeah, I just want to say my prayers go out to Tank Dell. I mean, that injury was devastating. I've read online that it could potentially be career-ending, depending on how bad it is. So I really hope that he makes a full recovery. I feel bad for the kid. He's a great player. Now this is back-to-back seasons that he's had a season injury. I really hope he can make a full recovery and, probably hopefully make an impact a year from now at the end of next season. But, we've seen this team, even when Stephon Diggs got hurt, this offense was already starting to struggle. Their offensive line's particularly not good. C.J. Stroud gets sacked a lot. I know he holds on to the ball a lot, but the offensive line is poor. And obviously, since Diggs is out, the offense has struggled. Now you don't got Diggs or you got Tank Dell. I know Nico Collins is the number one alpha top 5 receiver in the league, but he could only do so much. And I know they got Mixon as well, but you could kind of key on those two guys, and they pretty much aren't going to have too much after that. And this Ravens team, I feel like defensively, they've started to prove a little bit, and I think they'll be able to take advantage of the Texans' poor offensive line. They got 2 MVP candidates, in my opinion, in Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Both those guys are playing phenomenal right now, and you can make an argument both those guys are probably the second best at their position in the entire NFL right now. So they're firing at all cylinders, and I think they got a good chance to end up winning this division. By the way, they're going in the way the Steelers are going. So give me the Ravens to win and cover.
And Nick.
Yeah, so the way I look at this game is if you can find this spread officially when you go to bet this game, this is free money. Normally, I don't say that because that's a very legalese term that you really are not supposed to say in the gambling world. But if you can find this spread of Ravens minus 3.5, go jump on it. Like in a big way, go jump on it. The Texans have injury issues. CJ Stroud looks rattled. Like he's looked very rattled the last couple of weeks. I've had him in fantasy. I've actually benched him the last couple of weeks for Sam Darnold, actually. And not that it's really helped me that much, but he's been the better quarterback. The Ravens, Lamar just looks like he's on his tip-top peak game right now. He's running the ball well. He's throwing the ball well. Everything's working out. This is very easy. They're going to win I think they can win by double digits the way the Texans are playing right now. So this is a very easy cover.
All right, so a clean sweep to end the Christmas slate. And then Zan, on Thursday Night Football, one more time on Amazon Prime Video this season, an Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Hartung special as Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks go to Chicago to Soldier Field to take on your Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. And the Seahawks a 1.5-point favorite.
Well, what I saw from the Bears today, very similarly to what Nick M just alluded to, if you can find the Seahawks line at minus 1.5, I would jump on this as well. The Bears showed me absolutely nothing today. They got down 20-0 very, very quickly. Caleb Williams is still back there on an island, and it's not all his fault. But when you have an offensive line that can't protect the quarterback, when you just have so many mental errors, you get a fumble recovery, you get an interception, and you can't do anything with the momentum that you have. It's a recipe for disaster. Seattle's playoff chances are more than likely on life support. They're more than likely going to have to win out just to even make the playoffs as a wild card. So there's more pressure on Seattle than there is the Bears, considering that the Bears are doing all they can to try to secure a very high draft pick once again this upcoming spring. So I think this is more about just trying to keep Caleb Williams upright, making sure that this game is somewhat competitive for 3 quarters. But this is a game that Seattle can't afford to lose whatsoever if they want to make the playoffs, number 1 and number 2. This is a game that Seattle should win, and I think they will. So give me Seattle to cover. And it's a very, very small and very, very early 1.5. And again, if you can jump on this line or a line very similar, I would take it.
See, I'm not comfortable with either of these two teams but I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the Seahawks because they're not at home, and maybe road field advantage is a better play for them. I mean, they are not the same team at Lumen Field, and they've had some moments on the road this season, but I think this could be almost more of an anti-Bear pick than it could be a pro-Seahawk pick. So
fair enough.
Really, really a tough one, especially doing it this early out. But I'm going to take the Seahawks minus the 1.5 to maybe win by even a field goal. And I think that's what the play I'll go with here. Anthony?
Yeah, I know you can't really trust either of these teams. I'm ultimately going to trust the Seahawks. At least we've seen, more bright spots out of them. I know they're coming off of back-to-back losses. I know they just lost kind of a close game with the Minnesota Vikings. And Geno Smith obviously throwing that interception. So if Geno Smith goes out there and has a couple turnovers, the Bears could definitely have a shot. Obviously, the Bears usually try to typically be better at home. So that could definitely go in the Bears' favor. And I know defensively the Bears can play good. when they want to play. And I like what Caleb Williams does. He definitely shows some promise, and you can definitely see if he does get any sort of help and support, he can be a franchise quarterback. But I just like the direction that the Seahawks are going in more than the Bears right now. I love DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's one of the best duos right now in the NFL. And I think Seattle's pass rush and defense with those defensive backs with Witherspoon will be able to cause enough turnovers to get this win. So give me the Seahawks to win and cover.
Nick?
Yeah, I think this is easy. The Bears have just not been on their game at all whatsoever. It's not the Bears' year to win any games, or at least this type of game. The one thing I agree with Anthony is that Geno Smith is a little bit iffy out there, and he's got the leg injury, which might slow him down partially. But Seattle just has more offensive weapons, and that's just where I think they win the game. So I think they cover.
And Tom?
It's a shame this game is not lockable because I would be hitting this ASAP.
Me too.
Very quickly, Seattle. Seattle take the money. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. All right, and that'll do it.
Yeah, so that'll do it for the first part of Football Forecast this week. We will be back for the normal version after Christmas, which will come out on Friday because we still have Saturday games. Yeah, because we have Saturday games the rest of the way. So you're going to see these a day earlier every week. So make sure
maybe not week 18. Those are afternoon and evening.
No,
yeah, that's right.
What's going to happen probably in all likelihood is they're going to do 2 Saturday games in week 18 and everybody else on Sunday. That's what they've done.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the week 18, one of them's not going to be 1 o'clock. Unfortunately,
no, it won't. It'll be like 4:30 and 8:15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll get back to everybody when we put the schedule out officially. But make sure you follow us on social media at TFB Forecast ETB, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. And you'll get this show and every other show. And finally, listen to the Football Forecast wherever you get your podcasts as well. And then obviously the Football Forecast is presented by Playback. Finally, have a good holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. I'm not going to say the other thing yet because we still have one more show before the year is up. So I'll hold on to that one. But have a good holiday because we will be off for the 24th and the 25th. So everyone go enjoy the holiday. And we'll see you next week. Not next week. At the end of the week. Let me try that again. We'll see you at the end of the week for the rest of this slate. Have a good day, everybody.
Take care, all.
Have a good one.